So this year, instead of going to college, I decided to do the Young Daniel Year on Mission. So this is a year on mission for a life on mission. It takes place over the course of a year. We spend 40 days in the wilderness, 9 months in community, and then at the end of that we have a 30-day mission trip. So during the 40 days of intensive training, this takes place at Wilderness North, which is our training facility, which is located in the Superior National Forest. Each participant lives in a cabin, and then we usually meet at the lodge or somewhere else on the premises for our training. So the training is nothing like any other training I've ever even heard of. It's more in depth. We do a lot of things on like how to learn and what learning looks like. The training tends to be more focused on skills, how to build skills and enable us to do things instead of people just telling us. We get to practice these skills. So skills, some of these skills are like how to have intentional conversations with someone. So how to build a conversation past small talk. It's also tells us how to be a leader, and not just how to be any leader, but a leader for Christ. And we really go into depth. What makes someone a good leader? What makes them not a good leader? We compare and contrast and see what the Bible has to say about being a good leader. That's why we're called the Young Daniel Year on Mission. We take place after Daniel from the Bible, who was a leader in a secular environment. Part of our learning is we have what are called field assignments. First Thursday of the 40 days, and we are having our first field assignment. We are to go out and talk with two people who we've never met before, and we don't even know who they are. My group went down to two harbors. You go out and you talk with people. Well, it's a lot harder than it sounds. But I went up and found this old man who was feeding ducks on a bench near the iron ports, and I had asked if the seat next to him was open, and he told me I could sit down, and I was kind of looking around a little bit, and he goes, "You're not from around here, are you?" I'm like, "No, I'm just kind of in the area. It's kind of cool just looking around." And he's like, "Well, my name's Jim." After he said that, there's this clanging noise, and he goes, "You know what that symbolizes? They're dropping the iron down into these ships." And I began to talk to Jim and asked him about his family and what his kids did, and it was this amazing conversation. So learning these skills just work everywhere in life. Another part of the 40 days is our sailing trip. So we go on a 3-day sailing trip around the Apostle Islands. Standing at the helm as the Sweet Freedom neared port. So it was our last day of our sailing trip. It was kind of rainy, there was a lot of wind, which is good if you're on a sailboat. But we had arrived at port an hour early. So our captain had decided we would begin to have a little fun. So we began to jive and jive, which is turning the boat from this side all the way back to this side. I think the goal was to get the railing as close to the water as we could. He got more and more excited the closer we got it. And you could hear things kind of bouncing around down in the cabin below. And it was really fun. What I had learned from this experience is just because something's scary at first doesn't mean you can't have fun. So after the 40 days, we have 9 months in community. So during these 9 months, we are placed in a location somewhere in the United States. We are just meant to tie in with ministries in the area and churches and just start to get connected with people doing relational ministry. So we get a part-time job, which partially helps pay for our year on mission, and part of it is work ministry. So we just begin to connect in with people and just really invest in other people's lives. We hold a Bible study or multiple Bible studies, depending on the turnout we get, called Acts 2:42, where we have a meal together and then talk about a chapter in the Bible. At the end of our year on mission, we do the 30-day mission trip. So we go international overseas to Europe. The last couple of years, it's been in the Czech Republic. We do things as help with talk groups for people learning English. We go around to some churches and get to share what we're doing and how it affects us. And we get to help with what's called Leadership Quest, which is a 1-week long training for high school students on how to become Christian